Hello friends, this is Roxanne, and today, I'm going to recap the fifth part of the anime called Demon Slayer Season 2. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. In the Edo era, in Yoshiwara, an attendant confronts an Oirin as she puts on her makeup, accusing her for multiple disappearances within the house. The attendant enters the room and closes the door, only for the prostitute to exit moments later, the attendant vanishing without a trace. In the Ogimoto house, a captured Makio is questioned on who the letters are for, the demon calling her by name. Sensing something, Inosuke begins to investigate. In the Kayagaku house, Zenitsu ponders that since entering the house, he has not heard a word about Hinatsuru despite remaining vigilant. The recent death of the house's owner also hampers his mission as everyone is tight-lipped and afraid. Deciding to try again, he hones his hearing and detects multiple voices throughout the house. He suddenly hears someone crying and deduces it is a young girl. Back in the Ogimoto house, the demon detects someone approaching, becoming annoyed at the house's busyness. Makio tries to think of a way to inform Tengen, but the demon's sashes rapidly twist and constrict her torso tightly. The demon threatens to crush her organs should she make a commotion. Inosuke looks at the quiet room with food left out for Makio, feeling a creepy vibe emanating from it as he thinks of a plan. Suddenly, he mutters, then sitting and thinking without action is not who he is, and he barges into Makio's room. Upon seeing it, he becomes shocked at its destroyed and disheveled appearance, with papers and pillows torn and slash marks throughout the walls. He notices the debris floating about despite the windows closed and no wind entering, then hurls a ramen bowl at the attic and angrily shouts he is onto the demon. The ceiling begins to shake and the demon leaves the room, with Inosuke running through the halls in pursuit. He crashes through multiple walls in an attempt to follow it, even punching a client for entering his path, leaving a large hole in the wall. Using his beast-breathing seventh form, spatial awareness, he senses the demon fleeing downstairs, running to the bottom of the house. With the kimono hampering his senses, he loses track of it, angrily saying its escape was because of the people in his way. In the Kayagaku house, Zenitsu enters the room he sensed had a young girl crying inside. Shocked by its destroyed appearance, he loudly questions the girl, asking if she had been in a fight. The young girl cries harder, causing Zenitsu to calm down and ask if she is okay. He quietly tells her he is not angry, simply asking if she is in trouble. All of the sudden, he senses a demon behind him. The demon angrily asking what he is doing inside her room. Terrified, he notices she only appeared when she started to speak to him, believing the demon might be an upper rank. The demon, revealed to be Kayagaku house's Oirin Warabihime, is told by two young girls that Zenko only arrived 2 days ago. Warabihime ignores their words, frightening the girls. Zenitsu apologizes for intruding, but Warabihime only mocks him for her ugly appearance and yellow hair. She approaches the young girl assigned to clean the room, then grabs her ear harshly, ignoring her screams of pain. The girl cries and says she will clean up, begging for forgiveness as her ear starts to bleed. Instantly, Zenitsu grabs Warabihime's arm and demands she stop. In the Takedo house, Tanjiro continues to do chores quickly and diligently. The house's madam becomes stunned at his want to do chores, having run out of tasks for him to do. In the Ogimoto house, the chaperone and two attendants witness the giant hole in the wall recently made by Inosuke. She decides to confront Inoko for the vandalism, only to be surprised seeing Inosuke, focused and with his legs over his head, trying to sense the demon. Zenitsu repeats his words, demanding Warabihime let go of the young girl. Infuriated, she lets go of her and rips her hand from Zenitsu's grasp. Suddenly, she swings her fist back and strikes him in the face. 2 days before the mission to Yoshiwara, Kayagaku house's owner Omitsu confronts Warabihime, demanding she stop causing girls to get hurt, commit Ashinoke and even suicide, saying she bullied them to death. Warabihime appears ignorant at the accusation, asking Omitsu if she'd taken consideration the girls had simple should not have annoyed her. Then scathingly reminds her most of the house's earnings were through her as an Oirin. Omitsu relays a story she was told when she was young by an older woman, about certain Oirins, incredibly beautiful but incredibly twisted. The woman had seen such Oirins when she was young and later when she was middle-aged. The Oirins had Kimi at the end of their name and would cock their heads to the side and glare angrily if something annoyed them. Seeing Warabihime doing just that, Omitsu, armed with a knife, angrily confronts her for what she is, questioning if she is even human. In a flash, Warabi grabs her in her sashes and takes to the sky, dangling the helpless woman over the ground. She mockingly tells her she should have kept quiet the moment she senses something. While doing so, she reveals her true identity as upper rank 6 Daki. She tells her not to be afraid, as she hates the taste of old, ugly or dirty people, before mercilessly dropping Omitsu to her death below. As people on the street happen upon her corpse, Daki returns to her room, only to see Muzan inside. Addressing him as Master Muzan, she kneels down before him, as Muzan commends her for eating multiple people and gaining more strength. Muzan advises her to remain vigilant as she gets stronger, as any skilled demon slayer can immediately tell demons from humans. Calling her by her demon name, Muzan compliments her for her beauty and strength, as she had previously killed 7 Hashira, before telling her she is an extraordinary demon. Zenitsu gets flung through several walls and is knocked unconscious, Daki angrily demanding she isn't touched. The house's master appears, calming, asking she forgives Zenko and reminding her that customers will soon appear to the house. Daki smiles and calmly states she was perhaps too merciless, asking they treat her wounds. She tells the master she should be apologizing, as things had left her irritated. The master quickly demands the mess cleaned up and nothing to be done that displeases Warabi. Daki realizes the blow to Zenitsu hasn't damaged him severely and he had quickly went on the defensive, deducing him to be a demon slayer but not a Hashira. As she puts on her makeup, she mutters to herself that you did a good job bringing him in, declaring she would happily devour them all. Tanjiro, still doing chores, suddenly detects a murky scent in the air, a scent that has only appeared at night. Zenitsu wakes up and sees the 3 young girls around him, glad Zenko now awake. They tell him he was punched and was knocked unconscious, offering him food and a towel for the mark on his cheek. Hearing the pain in his voice as he tends to his injury, the girl he protected sadly tells him pain is what he got for defending her from Warabi. Zenitsu dissuades her words, telling her any man would rescue a damsel in distress, though he doubles down on his words and tells them he is the eldest daughter and he can't stand when a younger girl cries. The girls bid him goodwill and leave him to rest. As he quietly admires their kind attitude by himself, Daki abducts him without warning. In the Takedo house, Koinetsu's young assistants ask her to read them books. Before she does so, she graciously gives the 2 treasured Hirachi Kanzashi hairpins meant for her, saying she wants them to have it. Elsewhere, in the Kayagaku house, a chaperone informs the owner that Zenko is missing, but the owner angrily refuses to let them search for her, not wanting to do anything that might upset Warabi. Above the district's rooftops, Tanjiro and Inosuke discuss their situation. Inosuke informs him that there is a demon in his house, but his unusual way of describing it only confuses Tanjiro. They are then suddenly joined by Tengen, who states that Zenitsu will not be arriving. When Tanjiro asks what he meant by that statement, Tengen only tells them of his regret in making them join him in his mission. His want to rescue his wives has led to Zenitsu going missing. The sound Hashira dismisses the younger demon slayers, as he believes them incapable of handling an upper-rank demon. When Tanjiro tries to voice his support, Tengen only tells him there is no shame in leaving the mission before vanishing from the 2. Tanjiro believes he thinks so as they are the lowest rank, only for Inosuke to inform him they have in fact gone up. The 3 now 3 rank up from Mizunoto to Kano. Inosuke then displays his rank by flexing his arm and saying his rank, the mark appearing on his forearm. Told he has won 2 and that it is a sign they are now demon slayers. A remotivated Tanjiro tells Inosuke he must wait for him so they can start investigating the Ogimoto house together. Inosuke disagrees, leading the 2 to quarrel until Tanjiro clears up his statement by saying the demon in his house is still nowhere to be found and Zenitsu is still missing, believing there is a passageway between the 3 houses allowing the demon to travel between them. Tanjiro adds that he thinks the demon has disguised itself as a human and it would be careful about killing people to prevent blowing cover. Inosuke concurs, as a murder and bloodshed would be difficult to clean, due to the district's nightly activity convenient for demons. He believes Zenitsu and Tengen's wives are all still alive. With the plan set, Tanjiro tells Inosuke to look for them and stay alive, Inosuke agreeing to the terms. In the Takedo house, the girls give Koinatsu her tea and she dismisses them for dinner. Left alone, is suddenly joined by Tanjiro, re-equipped with his uniform and Nichirin sword. He gives her his payment for the master during his time spent in the house. Seeing her surprised by his uniform, Tanjiro informs her he had to be disguised. only for Koinotsu to tell him she knew all along he wasn't a girl. To his shock, Tanjiro tells her he will be rescuing all who have gone missing. The Oiran visibly relaxes at his words, as she will be leaving the district to be married. She mentioned she had worried for the missing as she is about to leave, telling Tanjiro to stay safe and not disappear too. Tanjiro bids her farewell and wishes her happiness. As she continues preparing, she hears something and asks if he had left something. Instead, Daki appears before the young woman, telling her she won't forget to devour her before she leaves the district. As Tanjiro runs to the Ogimoto house, he pauses and detects the scent of a demon nearby. In the Ogimoto house, Inosuke becomes angered at Tanjiro not joining him. Deciding to take action instead, he jumps up, slams his head into the ceiling and commands, "Hey mice, my swords." In the shadows, two ninja appear, holding Inosuke's blades and walking towards him. Inosuke compliments Tengen for training the mice as his personal servants to call upon. Rearmed, he bursts out his room to battle, to the surprise of a nearby chaperone. In the Kayagaku house, the owner stares at his wife's bloodied kimono, only to hear a voice ask about Zenko and Hinatsuru's whereabouts. Tengen appears and threatens the man with a kunai to the neck. The terrified owner only states that Zenko had disappeared and Hinatsuru had fallen ill and was taken to the Kiramais, the poorer section of the district. Tucking his blade, Tengen tells him he can be trusted and asks for everything he knows. The owner tells him of the Oiran named Varabihimi, in the room on the north side without light. With his information, Tengen disappears and leaves the man bewildered at his sudden visitor. Entering the room and seeing it empty, Tengen surmises the demon is now hunting and runs across the district roofs, heading to where Hinatsuru is likely at, reasoning she might still be alive and with information. Tengen believes the demon should return to the room during daybreak, declaring he will kill it. Returning to the now dark Takedo house, Tanjiro opens the windows to warn Koinotsu. Instead, he meets Daki. She asks if he is a demon slayer, then asks how many of them are there, knowing Zenitsu is one. She also asks if there is a Hashira with them, believing Tanjiro isn't at a Hashira's level, as she stares at Koinotsu absorbed into her obi. She turns to him and says she never eats dirty, old or ugly people. Tanjiro sees the kanjis in her eyes and realizes she is upper rank 6. He draws his blade and demands she let Koinotsu go, angering Daki. She swats him away with her obi, sending him into a nearby house. Stunned by the impact, Tanjiro takes a moment to will himself to fight and gets up, steeling his resolve to face her. He realizes her main weapons is her obi, with the ability to absorb people. He realizes it's the reason he was unable to find a secret path big enough for a human, since it only needs a thin crack to pass through and absorb someone. Daki sees he survived the impact, before complimenting his eyes, saying she would gouge and devour them later. The strap holding Nezuko's box breaks, leading him to set it down. Tanjiro tells Nezuko not to leave the box unless her life is in danger. Using water-breathing fourth form, striking tide turbulent, Tanjiro leaps into the air to face her, Daki retaliating by sending her obi sashes. Tanjiro attempts to cut them but the obi initially proved too durable for his blade. Eventually, he slices one but Daki punches him towards the ground. As he slows his fall, Daki lands down too and compliments him for his decent mid-air battle, as well as for separating the one sash containing Koinotsu. As he tries to regain his breath, the demon comments of her fondness of him. Trying to rationalize he is now facing upper rank 6, Tanjiro reasons whether he can battle her without Tengen, Zenitsu, or Inosuke. He then declares it's not a matter of could he do it, but that he has to do it. Raising his blade, he prepares himself to face Daki alone. Hello friends, this is Roxanne, and today, I'm going to recap the 5th part of the anime called Demon Slayer Season 2. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care.